Hello everybody and welcome back to another Rad Tattoo Academy tattoo tutorial with me, Robbie Rapole from TV's Ink Master, from YouTube's Ink Mag, from real life stuff. And we also have my apprentice and one of my greatest friends, Jeremy Jones Tattoo on the Instagram.
Heyo.
And so basically the whole concept is Jeremy is an apprentice at the studio that I own, Rad Ink, and he lives across the state, so he doesn't get to be at the shop all the time. And he's been looking for a lot of stuff on the internet, and he's found some great things, like Fireside Tattoo and a bunch of other rad stuff. But he wants to kind of fill the holes of what he's missing from out there by the way he sees me teach all day. So these are what these videos. This is what these videos are about. So we're just kind of filling the holes of the things that Jeremy and I'm sure other apprentices would love to see, but also artists on other levels. You know, I like sharing my knowledge with dudes, and I like learning from other dudes. So it's kind of a fun way to just kind of give what I've worked for at a small scale to a lot of people that could maybe enjoy it, learn from it, or have fun with it. So, Jeremy, what are we getting into today?
Today we're doing a Medusa tattoo, boys and girls. Just wait till you see this thing. And gosh dang it, it's pretty. I tell you what.
One of the things about this tattoo, I didn't like the way that I based out the nose with my first black and gray foundational layer.
It's the second session, right?
This is the second session.
Second session tattoo.
Yeah. So the first session was a black and gray base layer. It's a very good friend of mine, so I work on her when we get a chance, and she sits as long as I want, and I, was as much of my art flows through me, I put it on her, right? So the first session I did the best I could. The second session she had a family emergency and had to leave before we started. And then the third session it was great because I got to think a little more on how I didn't like the nose. And then that was my obsession, right? So it was funny, something that took me like 5 minutes to tattoo. I was so obsessed about the whole thing.
And you're going to see in a minute how he fixes that nose.
Right, exactly, with the purples, because the black and gray layer is a foundational layer, but it's like a painting. You can shift and move your light and dark tones. And before you know it, you have the proper piece of art that's been formed from your, layers of effort. So now we get into the video, and here we go. All right. So this is obviously a piece that was started. I started this piece on a very good friend of mine. And so, this is where I'm going to get kind of like hippy dippy and a little woo. She's a very good friend of mine, and this is a super healing tattoo for her, like emotionally speaking. The Medusa represents strength for her. And she lost a husband recently at 37 years old, like miraculously out of nowhere. So for her, having that strength really means a lot. And she's really had to embody that strength. So to be able to like bring that, that crazy, beautiful, scary image that we just saw as our reference into a piece that really means something to her and like represents that strength for her is really cool. It's super healing for the client. It's super healing for us as artists because like, I don't know, I'm sure you've experienced a little bit of this already, but like, how much do people need it that day?
All the time, dude.
Right.
A lot. Like,
right.
They could be just in such a shit. One girl comes to me every single week because that's her therapy. She's like, this is why I don't, hurt myself.
Right.
In different ways.
Right.
Or like, this is my release every week. And I always thought it was kind of like a little bullshit until I started tattooing. And I was like, wow, because different people, it's the same pattern over and over.
It really is.
Like we're fucking helping people. And you're also, it's like, just talking to someone for the 2 hours you're tattooing them is so huge to some people.
Huge.
That's fucking huge. You should also be you're like, we're tattooers, or I'm an apprentice, you're a tattoo artist, but you're a therapist in a way.
No, absolutely.
It's wild.
And like, I actually did a tattoo on somebody that works at my prosthetic office the other day. And it was a very simple white tattoo, right? But like the healing elements that we had in the conversation, she was like, I really love you and Donna, and I love that you guys don't really give a fuck what people think, and I need more of that in my life. And she's in her 50s, and like, you know, so it's just really cool to see what we can accomplish just by listening, giving a sounding board, and being ourselves, being our true authentic selves in front of them. That's why I love being a tattooer, because I can be my true authentic self more often than not. So to get on the tattoo, sorry guys, like I said, I got hippy dippy and shit, but I love that part of it because that's what Rad Inc. is about. Rad Inc., you know, the name comes from the Rad Movement, the YouTube channel we're on. And the Rad Movement was the motivational platform that I developed when I finally pulled myself out of the darkest depression I'd ever been in. And from wanting to kill myself to helping others not kill themselves. And now using tattooing as a part of that, it's so fun. It's so fun. I love it.
It's an ecosystem.
It really is, man. It really is. And like, for dudes like us that are like tough and shit, you know, like, we try to
the
be
He-Man
tough.
woman haters club.
Dude, yeah, and you try to be tough because tough is strong, and strong is, you know, not gonna break, right?
But sometimes we like to cry and hold each other.
It's nice.
While we wear the same shirts.
Man, and that was not even planned, but
yeah,
I love
we
it.
fucking just, we look like we're in a cult.
Actually, I'm wearing the same outfit as I was in this video.
You
I know I totally am. It's the
and this
same.
video was shot about a month and a half ago.
And for those that don't get it, these are the shorts,
Yeah, he's
right?
rocking them same
Literally
shorts,
the same video, the same pants and shirt.
X-ray.
So I hated the way this nose was, and I talked about this in the opening of the video, right? Because I do such a very loose black and gray.
14?
That is a 14 round liner, yeah. So
just to give people
the idea of what we're using, right?
So 14 round liner right there to fix this nose with that purple.
Well, that wasn't fixing. The fixing needed to happen.
You were giving it the little lip.
Yeah, I was giving it that divot, yeah, but the fixing needed to happen in the nostril to the right on the
that's
video.
about to happen. Sorry.
So yeah, no, that's okay. So what I started with actually was a 35 mag.
Yes.
And then I went to like a 15 mag, I think. Because I like to use a smaller mag on the face sometimes. And right here, I'm kind of shaping the cheek on the left-hand side from my perspective. Oh, and then I jump into doing lips. I love lips. Lips are easy, eyes are easy. Cheeks are hard for me. But I love doing lips, but I hate connecting the lips to the rest of the face. That part's hard for me. The bridge across the nose is hard for me. Foreheads are hard for me. And so whatever's hard for you, you're gonna be able to overcome it. But one of the best things I love about tattooing is, even if it is an area that's hard for me, cool. I just go lighter in that area, and if I know it's a multiple session piece, I go back to that later and build it, and my brain puts the pieces together before I have to actually do the work. So then when I do the work, my brain's already done it, and then tattoo. So that's why I love multiple session. I know we talk about this a lot.
And once you tattoo like 100 sets of lips,
right,
it's gonna be easier. Like I've been tattooing 2 months, full disclosure.
Ooh, so now I'm about to put some light some light purple highlights in the eyebrow ridges, and that's a scary part, but it's a really satisfying part. And sometimes I do that to complete a part of the face, so I understand how to put the rest of it together. So go back to what you're saying.
I've been tattooing 2 months.
And that's a 27 bug pin mag.
Premise of the podcast was, I'm an apprentice, he's a master tattoo artist. It's me asking him questions, so I'm the newbie. I'm you, essentially.
Well, depending on who you are, right?
Yeah.
Because it could be for anybody.
So what I've noticed is I've been tattooing at Rad Inc. in Melbourne, Florida for 2 months now, and I've already done like 6 lotus flowers. So like, what's cool about that is I could do a lotus flower with my eyes closed now. So like when I said you've tattooed 100 pairs of lips, and it's obviously a little more complicated than a lotus flower, but like you do something once, it's hard, then you do it again, it's a little easier, and you like do it a third time, like, oh, I've done this before.
Those are times.
Then it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
And you could like just do it, without thinking.
I met a guy at a Tony Robbins conference that had the love kanji on his face.
What is that?
Kanji, Japanese words or lettering. Right?
Okay.
And so I was like, that's the kanji for love. He's like, wow, that's pretty good. I'm like, I've tattooed it so many times.
Oh, so you knew what it was.
Yeah, love, strength, warrior, and like one other were on one sheet. So I tattooed the fuck out of those. So yeah, and that's the cool thing. Like one of my buddies, when I was struggling with human faces a while ago, he was like, dude, just trace human faces. And you'll figure it out. And so you see I'm dropping a lot of highlights. And notice how much attention I'm paying to that nose.
You give it depth.
I'm giving it a lot of attention. I'm giving it a lot of depth because I hated it. So what did I need to do? I needed to make that shine. I needed to make it stand strong. And without this knowledge from me telling you, you wouldn't have known that that's how I felt about it. But that's the cool thing. There's the little nuances that we hang ourselves up on as artists.
Yeah, dude.
We can get past that. But sometimes it takes the multiple sessions, and every time it takes forgiving yourself for not doing it perfect the first time, having grace with yourself for not having delivered the way you want to.
You're never going to be perfect.
No, but the beautiful thing is when it comes to art, you can put layers in. If you've ever painted a wall red, you understand how hard it is to do in one perfect pass. And with tattooing, you have to have grace with yourself and allow the passes to be necessary. Now, I'm not saying as a convention tattooer, I haven't fucking forced myself to think 40 steps ahead and create a piece start to finish. I've done that a million times. I've won awards for it. I've had a blast doing it. I beat myself up for not doing it good enough. But at the end of the day, my favorite way to work is in layers because it gives you some salvation. It gives you some
it takes the pressure off.
It takes the pressure off, exactly. So, you don't have to deliver your lines crisp, clean, perfect the first time. Yeah. You just have to deliver a presence of what idea of the tattoo is coming. So before this video, Jeremy dropped me in, and I'm using the 35 mag again right here. And I'm going over a lot of the darks in here with dark deep violet from Starbright, because that's going to build that more dimension from that violet going over that black or that gray. But I'm building this piece as it goes. And one of my favorite parts about this piece, Jeremy made me watch the video from, kind of skim through it real quick before we started. But it helped me see the parts of the tattoo that I loved, the parts of the tattoo I wanted to expand on. And then I was excited to see the end where I did the green, and I just saw this tattoo healed in person the other day. I was really stoked with it. And so now I get to see where we're going through the process.
I'll try to get a healed before this video goes up.
Yeah, we'll try and do that. And it may not be the most perfect picture, but it's funny I'm wearing the same glasses, the same earrings, the same outfit. Man, I coordinate the same every time I coordinate, apparently, sir.
Good job, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You look like you there.
Hey, man,
Weird.
I wake up like this, but I plan it,
Just excellent.
And so part of the reason why we get stupid sometimes is because that is part of tattooing. You're allowed to have fun, right? You're supposed to have fun. One of the mottos at our shop that my business partner brought up, he's like, if it's not fun anymore, we don't do it. And now look at that face. Yeah. If you go back to the beginning of this video and look at the way that face just looked there, wow, what a difference. And then the next time we go back into this, that face is gonna get so much more smooth and soft and pushed and pulled. Because one of the things I didn't ever understand as a younger artist was how people, when I watched their time lapses, it would get dark and then it would get light and then it would get mid and then it would get light and then it would get dark. Because you play with your tones so much to get the art right. It's like a sculpture where you take a chunk of thing and what is supposed to be there from under all that, you work into, and that's the way tattoos are, and that's the way I teach. Because if you make it too specifically has to be, oh fuck.
If you get too obsessed with what he always tells me is, if you get in your head, you're dead.
Yep.
And you just can't, you just gotta fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
Which is what you tell me to do.
Dude, that's my favorite thing. What you worried about? Just fucking tattoo.
Just do it. Listen to your brain. I need more of this here. I need more of that here. I need to stop doing this here.
But don't listen to the monkey mind. When it starts to overrun you. But should you do that? But this and that.
Yeah, fucking second guess.
When you know what you're supposed to be.
It's only going to be there for 50 years and it's going to rot off in the coffin. So just fucking do
exactly.
it. It's going to be fine.
And it'll talk to you.
It's going to be okay. It'll talk to you. He'll tell you what it needs.
And when it does, that's when you listen. And sometimes you have to just like be obedient to going over here and putting whatever it is in. And even in a way that seems insignificant, because nothing is insignificant, because every part of this tattoo is important. Because without the darks, you don't have the lights. Without the lights, you don't have the darks. Without the mids, the darks and lights don't come together so beautifully. Without those, like, you know, bright ridges on the eyebrows, you don't have that same oomph. You know, like, so.
Try to not get too focused, like hung up on half the reason we started this is because I came to Robbie. I was like, so I'm supplementing my learning with YouTube videos because, you know, I'm only here a couple days a week, blah, blah, blah. Don't get hung up on like, oh, he's using a bug pin tapered 35 mag in this machine. Like, dude.
It's not about the tools. The tools aren't going to make you the best.
I'm a guitar player. I can make a $200 guitar sound like a $2,000 guitar. It doesn't matter.
Well, dude, my friend Josh Herman, he's like anti a lot of stuff, and one of the things he went on was like, you don't need sponsored equipment to be a great tattooer. I'm a sponsored tattooer. I represent the brands that I work with because I love the brands that I work with. But at the end of the day, what I was taught from my dad was, because my dad was a tattooer and he taught me how to tattoo. If you have equipment that doesn't work so good and you can make a great tattoo, imagine how great you'll be when you can use the equipment that you want.
Good stuff.
So you can make great tattoos with anything because art can be made with salt. Art can be made with dirt on somebody's window or their car. Man, art can be made any fucking where. So if you use the tools that work with you, then you're good. If you and when it comes to inks, use the inks that are proper, that are, you know, approved in our country, and
I like to repeat that the size of your needle, think of it like a paintbrush.
Yes.
If you're covering more area, this was one of the biggest breakthroughs I ever had since I started tattooing.
All right, let me hear this, because
if you're covering a larger area, use a bigger paintbrush. If it's a tinier thing, you need to get a tiny little use a smaller paintbrush.
But you know what else we were talking about today?
That's like huge for me.
Not going overboard with the too small a paintbruch.
Yeah, which is something I used to do. That's
why I wanted to talk about it.
I would take a 14 mag a 14
round liner, yeah.
And like I would get in there with the mag, like get in my big fields of my black, and then on the corners, like, because I was too afraid to go to the corners with my mags, because I was like.
And so now I'm doing a lot of corner work with mags. This is 35 mag right here,
which you can get to. But initially I was afraid of that, so I took a 14 round liner and I'd get those little edges by the lines because I was too afraid to get. But ever since he was like, "You stop being a bitch," I use mags now and I just go up to the line, dude. You just figure it out. You're gonna fuck a couple people up.
And the thing is, you're gonna go outside of the line sometimes too.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
The cool thing about going outside the line, you can fix it. You can fix it in that same session, even if it's a one session convention tattoo. You know, people have like asked me, why do you do white outlines with New School? Well, because that's part of what New School is. New School, like, right, to me, and well, that too, because when you throw that white outline or that colored force field around it, you can also fix any really imperfections that are around there or mask them some. So yeah, sometimes in tattooing, I mask imperfections, but as an artist, as a loose artist using a 35 there, I'm not trying to make perfection.
Really big needle. Right. The biggest I've gone is a 27.
Which I'm proud of you for being so young into it, because a lot of young artists are afraid to go that big. But like, look at what those large mags have accomplished. We used like a 15 and a 27 in the face.
Now you're on a 35.
We're using the 35 in the Medusa's snake hair.
And you're also tell people how you're not using every needle in that.
Right, and you can see that we're not using every needle in that arrangement.
The corners.
And you look, I'm just like kind of, I'm. So there's a method in painting called scumbling that I've always thought was a funny word, but a really tough guy taught me that word. So when he was like, you need to do scumbling in your painting, it was very funny for a tough guy to teach me the word scumbling. But it was a very brilliant term that I learned in art because it's basically like kind of dry brushing, where you're like just kind of dusting things around to get the idea. ideas. And when this tattoo heals, those purples are going to be good and rich when I saturate it, especially over the blacks. And where I saturated next to the blacks, it's going to be that purple, so it's going to have that fade already built in, which is really cool. Doing layers builds in fades, and before you know it, you're just like not doing as much work as you thought, because by the time you get into it again, it's built.
Question.
Yes.
So when you're jumping around a lot.
And so that's a liner. Over those gray lines that I started with, those are colored lines. Those are deep violet, because I want that to hold in a distance rather than in the foreground with blacks and strong. So go ahead.
So how you're jumping around so much, how do you know when you're about to chew someone up? Because you're jumping around, so you're not going to remember every single spot you were at. It's just by...
You got eyes?
You've done it so much
you got eyes?
that you can see if you're going to jack someone up.
Right. Because, so the thing is, if it's not taking, what am I doing wrong to make it not take?
Usually not stretching.
Not stretching
is my biggest problem.
Your needle might not be out far enough.
Right.
Well, this is the way I tattoo. I tattoo on 10.5 volts, and I hold my needles out about that far almost every time. I got a really fucking long.
So a lot.
Yeah, I use a 4.2 millimeter stroke, and I hold my needles out.
He's teaching me. I do the same exact thing because I'm just copying him.
And the thing is, that's how I teach people, because I'm not trying to make you copy me, right?
Oh, it works though.
But I'm trying to teach you how to do the way I know.
When I'm at like 8.5, I can't do it. I'm jumping back up because my hand speeds are matched to that 10.5.
Right. So no matter what speed you run your needle at, you got to match your hand speed to it.
Yes.
And you're always
different. Also.
Right. And you're always going to have these amounts of layers you can go. I knew a dude that was like, you can take 10 passes the way I tattoo. I cannot take 10 passes. I'll eat your mother's skin up if I take 10 passes on you. That's a lot of passes.
I don't know how you could take 10, but
some people can. Some people can, and I've seen it. And they run their needles a lot slower. They work their hand a lot slower, but they cover a decent amount of range. So what I'll do in 2, 4, or 6 hour sessions, they'll do in one 11 or 12 hour session. But because they're not so assertive and aggressive with the needle depth and the speed, it takes way longer in one session that can heal better. If I worked that way, I would ruin their skin. So I tattoo pretty hard and fast, but I get it built. And you see, these are gray lines that I'm going back over.
The client can appreciate.
Absolutely.
You being there for 3 hours instead of 12.
Right. And when you're traveling to an artist that's in another country or in a faraway land from you, you're gonna sit a lot longer than.
I fucking hate long tattoos.
Right, and now that we've been working this bodysuit together, you don't sit as long as we used to because we don't put a need on it. Right, we don't have to. Yeah, it's great to do 6 hour sessions.
You can, but if you tattoo someone for 8 hours, they're gonna fucking want to kill themselves.
Right. So three 3 hour or 2 hour or even 1 hour sessions is way better than forcing someone to sit through
and the
sessions.
Body is that's so draining on a body.
It
for
really is.
Hours of torture.
And so we're back in here. So I like the fact that I'm lining and shading with the same needle. And so you look, some of these little outlines are still gray, and some of them are coming through with a 14 round liner. And that 14 round liner is to make it just feel strong and be in the middle ground, but in the foreground of the middle ground, because the black lines are on the foreground. So here's your black lines, and then here's your bold purple lines, and then here's your light purple lines to no lines, or here's your no lines. And then the way, if that makes sense, the way you build the painting of the tattoo. And same as paintings. And you can look at the way, I love watching this tattoo come together, because I hated this tattoo. I love Laura so much, and I was like, man, I failed her. And then when they get back in the chair, you realize, oh, I didn't fail them. We just weren't there yet.
So look at something constantly for too long without taking a step back. You're gonna fucking hate it.
And so this is my favorite part. We already talked about how much I already love this part, the green, because green and purple are complementary colors. Bang, beautiful. So now I'm making this tattoo be bold, right? I'm popping those purples forward, even though I'm popping them back because I'm putting the green in. Now the greens I'm putting over some of the parts of the snake because you want in the essence that I'm doing, you want light effects, right? So some of that green is shining over, under, this and that, still keeping it loose, but just having fun with it and allowing it to be cool. 35 mag, and you see I'm not like planting all that color right away. I'm dusting a lot of color right now. I like to dust color in these session pieces. You get it.
Because she's going to be back.
She is.
So circumstances are different. If you're never going to see her again, he'd probably tattoo differently.
I would have totally tattooed differently if I'd never seen her again. Yeah. I'd made sure I would have planned the art on this piece to be one session. I would have put detail in areas where I could put detail. I'd put really good blends where I could put really good blends. I'd play that color game. Now I'm going back with that really light purple to play with my own head, my own eyes. And now next time I see it, I'm going to see those purples, I'm going to see those greens, and then my brain is going to remember the notes I left.
And you kind of like leave reminders for yourself for the
notes I left.
Session.
Yeah, I'm always making notes on the skin.
Which I see artists do all the time.
And look at how much different this tattoo looks from the beginning. Because, we figured out a couple of different depth levels.
A 2.5 hour session?
Yeah, I work very fast, but I work very loose when I work fast. I don't work as loose when I make a tattoo from start to finish, because you have to finish the piece.
Yeah,
but in the process, I am kind of loose. But I try to be more deliberate. I'm loose with my blends. I'm deliberate with my saturations. I try to make sure I know where my blacks, my darks, and my mids are going to go. And then I kind of just blend everything together. And then finding where your lines are supposed to go, it can be difficult, right? And so that's why I love working in layers like this. But if I'm working in a single session, I make sure my brain can imagine what it would feel like or look like finished. And if my brain can imagine what it would feel like finished, my brain can put together what it would look like finished.
Take a second to note that the chair she's sitting on was actually made by
so her husband that passed away. So it was an old Tat Soul chair I got like almost 20 years ago, and he resurfaced that chair with like a purplely pink
knot behind,
behind her. Yeah, wow, man. And that's her like seeing it in the mirror, and that's fun because like she's like enjoying it, and like she's obviously enjoying it, and like that makes me happy. And I'm not happy, and I'm not pleased with the finished product, but I'm super pleased with where we got from where we were.
Oh yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah. If I was a client, I walked in with what she had, and then I left with this, I'd be fucking stoked for the next few months.
And for me, I'm like, okay, that's good enough, but it's not good enough.
Get them to like a placeholder to where they can walk around for a couple months, be cool, and then it heals. You come back, you get more.
Or you get them to where you can get them, because sometimes I've gotten people to the neck and shoulders without a face.
You can only do what you can do.
And that's what it is. So don't beat yourself up if you can't create the finished product one time in 1 or 2 hours, okay? Tattoos take a long time. Simple, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It's kind of cliche, but it's true. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it takes a minute.
I was there. It took a long time.
He was there. It took a long time.
Long fucking time.
Yeah. And then the aliens, and then the Egyptians, and there was a lot going on to build the pyramids.
My back still hurts.
But at the end of the day, it takes a while to make things happen. It takes a while to put something together. Your dream house doesn't come overnight, and it doesn't get built quickly. So when it comes down to it, your tattoos are like your dream house, right? You're building these beautiful pieces of artwork that your heart can make, but you have to be steadfast in the journey of making it. It's scary, it's difficult. You're going to be facing a lot of your demons throughout the way, and those demons look like anger, frustration, fear, crying, sadness, insecurities, lack of confidence anymore.
And you're not going to feel good every day you tattoo.
No, you're not.
Yesterday I had one of the worst days of my life. I was just panic attacks all day. I'm tattooing while I'm having panic attacks. It was fucking hell.
And today he had one of the best days of his life.
Today was the best.
And my day kind of sucked. So
but like there's balances, and like this podcast / just like it's there's so many things in this that you're gonna take, like just some 26 years of tattooing experience, newbie that's given up everything, and literally I've devoted my entire soul, being, everything to tattooing. All I'm doing is this.
He leaves his wife a new baby every week for 3 days.
I have a 4-month-old daughter. I leave them across the state in Florida, and so you can I'll try to document more of my journey as trying to do this forever as my profession. I've been in the industry for years, but actually holding
tattooing suit.
Yeah, holding the machine. I've been getting tattoos since I was 18. I'm 33 now, so it's been a long time. But you gotta fucking want it, dude. You can't just half-ass it, bro.
And that's another thing. Just because you're not 22 doesn't mean you can't get it.
No, yeah, man.
I've known dudes that are in their 50s that start tattooing and turn amazing. So no matter what point in your career,
you're still relatively young.
Right? Yeah, it's excellent, dude. I'm relatively young, so you better be.
Yeah, no,
so but no matter what part of your life journey you're on, if tattooing's a part of it, this could help. This could be fun. It could be enjoyable. But
it's one of the coolest jobs ever.
It really is, and we're proud of you for doing it. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you for sticking to this fucking video game.
It's good.
Good job.
But it's difficult to face this much self-doubt.
Yes.
Tattooing brings a ton of self-doubt. Tattooing can ruin your relationships. It can ruin your sobriety. It could ruin your finances. There's so many things around tattooing because it's so easy to be a rock star lifestyle. That you have to pay attention to what
a certain kind of person to be here.
Right, and then if you don't have any of those vices, but it could still take down your confidence. It could take down your ability to believe in yourself. So if you are weak of the mind, this is a reminder to get stronger. Because the weird thing is, I'm very strong of mind, so I think, and then I have days like today that remind me that I probably need to get stronger. And by that I mean, don't be a jerk just because hard times happen. And that's a totally different lesson. But life's weird as it comes, and tattooing is an exchange of energy from one person to another. So if you're having a hard day and you bring that into your client experience, that's gonna suck.
You ever notice that when you're done a full day, just a side note, you tattoo all day, and then you're done, you're spent. You don't want it more. You had so much excitement during the day of
it's a high
dude,
energy,
so
and then you're like, burp.
Then you're just I'm just gonna fucking go home.
Dude, tattoo conventions, you've been there.
Oh, dude, the fucking world when you're done with that 3-day show.
Oh,
and you're which I've never tattooed at a convention. I used to sell body jewelry at tattoo conventions.
But it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of work.
So fucking much.
And Sunday night of a convention when I smoke a bowl, that's the most stoned I've been all weekend.
For sure.
Because the rest of the weekend I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? So I know we veered off, but it's all tattoo. And that's the thing.
All of these are tattoo related. This whole channel is just tattoo.
Right, and you're gonna go through this.
You don't want just fucking, this is a bug pin 7 minutes.
Right, and
you want all encompassing tattoo life.
And I love to wakeboard. I love to fucking be a dad. I love to sing and play music. He loves to play music. We have all these different aspects and facets of us that you're gonna see on this channel that you've seen. The suspension, the losing my leg through that, it's been all a whole lot, right? And that's what this channel is about, is rad, right? Being rad. And tattooing is a great part of being rad. When you look at the power you're given, you are given close proximity to somebody's energy. And then that's charged with electric. And you can treat that wonderfully or you can treat that terribly.
You can be one of those fucking dickhead. You've had one of those.
Right.
You walk in and the guy's like, "Fuck, what do you want?"
I've been that dickhead. Bro, I've been that
Fuck
dickhead.
off.
I've been that dickhead.
It's the worst.
So in all aspects, being rad is being your most authentic self, living your most authentic life, and being the kindest human you can to yourself and others. So,
rock and roll.
Thanks for listening to our wild trailings of love, thoughts, insecurity,
from
self-doubt.
The tank top buds.
You're from the tank top buds, man. Thanks for tuning in. If you dig what we're saying, please like, share, subscribe. If you don't dig what we're saying, let us know why we could be better.
Go fuck yourself. No, sorry.
That too.
Sorry.
But also, if you have topics you want to hear about, whether they're from tattooing or being parents, because we're both new parents, we're both older parents too. Just living life, I'm a human coach. So whatever the questions are, come ask the questions. We can help you facilitate some answers from the inside.
Just leave a comment down there. You want to smash that like button, kid.
Yeah, and share and subscribe.
Go fuck yourself.
Sorry, we're rad.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. That's just gross. We're rad and so are you. He's a jerk.
Kid.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.